Hello and welcome back to the course. In this video, we'll be finally getting around to adding 3 simple upgrades to our upgrade menu and just kind of getting them set up and ready to go. Upgrade menus can be a really large undertaking, so we'll be taking this piece by piece so you can kind of easily understand how we'll kind of be getting this functional and the general roadmap of things. One of the things I want to make the system capable of is basically reading a certain file path, finding every resource we place inside of that folder, and then kind of using that as a way of actually populating our upgrade menus and kind of like basically using that folder or that specific folder as a database with resources and things like that. This has so many use cases for so many different things, not just an upgrade menu. It can be used for a lot of different things, and it just kind of makes it really great to learn, and it will allow us to easily, like extremely easily, add as many upgrades as we want of whatever types we want. After we have those upgrades being set, the folder being found, and kind of all of that happening, we will then move into actually making them impact our character and our game somehow. Now that you get the general roadmap that we'll be taking over the next few videos, let's actually go get this set up and get the base functionality of this ready. So we've already went and designed the actual upgrade menu and the upgrade options individually. Now we actually just get to do things with them. One of the very first things I actually want to do before we move into this is a bit of quality of life for us. Is if we go into our game state manager, we have this state timer running with a wait time of 30 seconds. What I want to do here is, because we can just, click the state timer and we can move this. Actually, yeah, let's just do that. We're going to set this wait timer down to 10 seconds. That way, when we click play, we have 10 seconds and it can just test and it can check the upgrades. We might even go one step further and just do it down to 3 seconds, because right now we don't need to be playing the game. We just need to have that kind of tick into the upgrade options so we can just get them running and functioning. How do I want to go about our upgrades, and what do I want to use for our upgrades? Well, I'm thinking one of the easiest ways without going into databasing and just basically making a huge database for this stuff is a resource system. Resource systems can be really large, or they can go really large, and they can be really, really useful. And only when they get to like the tens of thousands can they kind of start to actually have an impact in performance, but we won't really be getting that far, so that's going to be fine for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our scenes folder here, and we are going to right click on scenes, create new, and create a new folder. Now we're going to rename this folder resources. So we now have this folder for resources. I'm going to create another new folder in here, and I'm just going to call this the upgrades. So we now have our upgrades, and I'm going to do one more folder. This is just a little extra line of separation just to make sure that when we're doing our file path checking for this in the future, that we don't add anything into the folder that can brick the system. So what we're going to do is rename this one to, we'll just call this one the upgrade underscore folder. Because this one, like upgrades and upgrade folder, the upgrades is going to basically contain the script. This might just be a good idea to rename these. I'm going to call the first one upgrade folder, and then call the second one upgrades. So this is kind of what we should be looking at here. Resources, upgrade folder, upgrades. The upgrade folder will contain the base script that we plan on using, and then the upgrades specific folder will contain every resource that we've created for upgrades. So let's get that started. Inside of the upgrade folder, we're going to right click, create new, and we're going to create a new script. And we're just going to call this script base upgrade resource. We'll double click on that script and open it up. Now we don't need the ready function or the physics or the process function or anything like that. We do need to change what this is extending. So we want to basically change this from extends node to extends resource. This will allow us to actually create custom resources from this script. Now we are going to need to give it a class name as well, because that's the final point for creating custom resources. I'm just going to call this a custom resource of base upgrade. So we know very well that this is just the basis of an upgrade. Now we just need to give it a few things. What are our upgrades going to need? Well, for now, and the reason why we're doing it this way will give us the ability to use inheritance when we actually go to create upgrades, which means any changes we make to this specific script will be upgrade wide, which will be very, very useful. because it means if we need to add specific stat changes or other things that every upgrade needs to have, we can just add that in and it will change it for everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a export variable. This is just going to be the name. I'm going to use, I'm going to call this upgrade name specifically, just to make it very clear. This will be of type string, and we'll set it equal to an empty string because we don't actually need to name anything yet. Now, the next one is going to be a little bit weird. We can use the same kind of functionality as we've just done with an exported variable of type string. What we're actually going to do is use an export underscore multi-line. This is going to be for the description, and you want to be able to just, type a description in the editor. Using a multi-line for this just makes life a lot easier. So we'll go var description, set this to type string, and then set it equal to an empty string. Make sure I spelled description correctly. Description, yeah, I did. Here we go. And the final one that we're going to need, of course, is the export variable for the cost. So I'm going to call this the upgrade underscore cost. We'll set this to type int, and we'll set equal to 0. I'm going to change description to be upgrade underscore description. There we go. That way we're kind of keeping everything kind of in line, and everything is upgrade specific. So what this will allow us to do now, if I hit Control S and save, is create a resource and then basically give it a name, a description, and a cost. So the first thing that we're going to do when it comes to creating resources is we're going to right click on our upgrades folder, create new, and go to resource. Now we just need to find the base upgrade resource that we just created, or the base upgrade script we created. Double click on that, and it will give us this new window for creating a new resource. I'm going to call this the null, call it the null upgrade, because the null upgrade is basically the no more upgrades remain, or this is the testing upgrade. This allows us to now test out our name, our description, and our cost. So if you don't get that pop up immediately, go into your upgrades folder, double click on the null upgrade.tres or null upgrade.resource. And now we have access to these variables here in the editor. So I'm going to just call this upgrade null. I'm going to give it a description of this is not an upgrade, something either broke or everything has been brought. That way, if somehow this actually ends up in the game, which technically it shouldn't, we should have some fail-safes around that, but if it does, then, we have this, and it will just make sure that the upgrades don't kind of break. And now we just give it a cost. I'm going to give this a cost of 5 or 5 coins. I'm going to hit Control S and save, and that is it. We have our upgrade resource ready. So the next thing we want to do is actually start messing around with our upgrade options, or this specific window that pops up, which contains the title, the stats, the description, and the cost. So to do this, we're actually just going to go and add a script to the upgrade option root. Now that we're here, let's go and give it a class underscore name of upgrade option. So, we know that it's what it is, and we're going to need to reference this anyway at some point with other things. We're going to remove the ready function and the physics process, or the process function, and kind of start creating our script from top to bottom. So we just created the null upgrade. I want to make sure that this upgrade option always has access to that null upgrade. So we're just going to write export var base underscore null underscore upgrade of type base upgrade. And we'll set that equal to null. So now, if I hit Control S and save, we'll see that this popped up in the inspector, which means I can now quick load this, and I can grab that specific upgrade for the null upgrade. Now, quick loading will basically populate that menu with every single upgrade that's of type base upgrade. So we'll be able to just kind of pick and choose between which one we want in first. But I just want to make sure that the null upgrade is in first, because that's going to allow us to start kind of messing around with setting the description, the title, and the cost. So for that, we're also going to be needing a new variable, a simple non-exported variable, And we're just going to call this the price underscore of underscore upgrade, because we're going to want to make sure that we have a place to store the price at a minimum right now. And now that we have that, we need to think about what we need to set. Well, if we go to our scene tree here, we know that we need to set the upgrade label, the stats label, this label, which I think is the description label, which I'm going to rename to the desk label, so I make that a bit more clear. And then we have the purchase button. So the stats label, we're going to want onReady variables for all of these. So let's just go and grab all of these onReadys first. I will do these between the exports. So we will go and grab the upgrade label, drag, control, drop, the stats label, drag, control, drop, the description label, drag, control, drop, and finally the button. Now I'm going to typecast all of these as their actual types. So label as label, the next one, which is the description label, is of course a label. And the final one is a button, so we'll make sure we don't typecast that as a label because that'd be a bit awkward. So we now have all of our onReady variables. We can start moving into actually modifying these. Let's go and get the button connected inside of the ready function, because we know we're going to want to press that button at some point anyway, so may as well get that set and ready. So we'll just do button down dot connect, and we'll use on underscore upgrade underscore purchased, because this is our purchase button. We'll hit Control C and save, or Control C and copy, and then we'll go down to the very bottom of the script. We'll create a new function for this. It takes no parameters, so we can just create a void return type and kind of sit from there. Now I want to go over this really quickly. I know some people dislike this method of connecting signals, and that is completely okay. If you don't like connecting signals like this, the good news is you can just go up into the, if you press on this button in the scene tree and you go up to node signals, you can connect them like this. There is no difference when it comes to node specific signals like this. You can just do that and it won't affect it in any way. It might just look a bit cleaner. You'll remove things from the ready function. You can do that. The only time this type of connection becomes genuinely necessary is when you want to do signal bus related connections. And that is because there is no simple button that you can press to just add them to the script. So just keep that in mind. If you really don't like this method of connecting, you feel like it's either messy or it's a bit it doesn't sit well with you, you don't have to do it. That's okay. There is no one correct way of doing everything. Do what feels comfortable for you, as long as it works. That's really all that matters. So now that that's out of the way, we are going to create a new function in between the ready and the on upgrade purchased function. This is just going to be called set underscore upgrade underscore option. This is just basically going to create all of our upgrades. Now we're going to want to make sure that we pass through parameters here for upgrade, and of type base upgrade. And then we can do a void return type as we've done before. And I'm going to talk to you about why we want to do these parameters. These parameters will be so another script can actually influence and use this functionality and set these for us. I want these to be in control of setting the base null upgrade, but I don't want them to be in control of actually what upgrade they should set. They should only set the null upgrade if the base upgrade here doesn't exist. So to do that, we'll just do a really simple if check, right? We'll go if the upgrade is equal to null. We want to then basically just set the null upgrade to be a thing. Now, on the flip side of that, we also just want to do an else statement and then move into setting up what the upgrade will be. Now, I will get into how that's going to actually work in a second. So let's just set our labels for the null upgrade or the base null upgrade. This is really, really simple. We can just grab the upgrade label. We'll do this one first, and we just do .text and then set it equal to the base null upgrade dot upgrade name. So that's the name already set for us. The next one, of course, is going to be the description label. The stats label we're going to skip for now because these won't have any impact on our character, so we don't need to think about stats yet. So Next one is the description label, .text. We'll set that equal to the upgrade, or the base null upgrade dot description, upgrade description, there we go. And now finally is the buy button. So we'll just use we'll pull the button, we'll go .text. Now this is going to be a bit weird because we're going to be using a bit of string concatenation and some little combinations of things because of how I want the text to look. I'm going to open some double quotes here. I'm going to write the word buy. And then I'm going to kind of cap this off with a single parentheses. So this is kind of what it should look like. Then I'm going to write the word plus str, or I'm going to use the plus sign, so add plus str. And then inside of that, I want to then use the base null upgrade dot upgrade cost. And then I finally want to use another plus and then cap this off with an open quotes and then the final parentheses to kind of make it look a little bit like this. So what this should look like is buy. So it will say buy and then in parentheses the actual cost of the upgrade, which is really simple. You don't need to do this. This is overcomplicating it a little bit, but I just think this looks kind of good. I'm going to hit Control S and save. I'm going to basically run this function because it should actually be able to just work right now. I just have to pass in null in the ready function so this knows that this is null. So what we can do with that setup is we can, one, make sure that our upgrade option in the inspector has the null upgrade set. If it doesn't have the null upgrade set, this will crash or it just won't correctly function. It's a bit weird with how we're doing this. You technically don't need a base null upgrade. I just like it because it allows me to test the settings of things. So I'm going to hit play. I'm going to wait the 3 seconds that we have, see if it crashes. It does not. And you can see that the name has been set to null, the description has been set to this is not an upgrade, and the pricing has been set to 5. So with that done, we now need to think about actually setting this for like actual upgrades, right? So we're going to finish off this set upgrade function. To do that, we are going to finish this else or this if statement with an else. And this is really simple. We can literally just grab the same stuff, right? Like I could, like if you really want to make it easy on yourself, you can copy paste these 3 lines here into the else statement. And instead of using base null upgrade, you can just use upgrade.name or upgrade.upgrade name, upgrade.upgrade description, and inside of here, upgrade.upgrade cost. So all I did there was just remove the base underscore null underscore and just that's it. That's sorted. That means that anytime we pass through an upgrade, it's going to set it for us. Now in the else statement, the other thing that we actually need to set is going to be the price of the upgrade. So we're going to write price of upgrade and then just set that equal to the upgrade dot upgrade cost. That way we're storing the price of our upgrade. So with that done, the final step for this specific thing before we move into actually messing around with the upgrade menu is creating a signal to fire out and then have something in the future listen to that signal to grab the price of the upgrade. So we're going to do that really quickly. We're going to just go into our auto loads, into our signal bus, and we're going to add a new signal to this. So this new signal is just going to be on underscore upgrade underscore purchased. Now, there are 2 ways of doing this. You can basically send out the entire upgrade inside of a signal, which is extremely useful and more than likely what we're going to end up doing. Or you can just send out the price on this. If you want to send out the price, you would just give this the parameters of value and an integer, and then you would create the new function for it, which I'm going to go do here. So the new function, which will just be emit on upgrade underscore purchased, making sure to give it the correct parameters, which is value of int, and then we just emit the correct signal. So on underscore upgrade purchased dot emit pass through the value, and this is basically how you would just do the pricing. Now we can just do the pricing. We don't need to just do the pricing. Because in the future we're going to have these upgrades that impact our character, it's probably going to be a very good idea to have the upgrade itself be emitted as a reference throughout the whole project on anything that needs to listen to it. That way, the health manager could listen to this and then pull in the health changes if we have health changes. The collectible manager can listen to this and pull in the collectible changes. So to do that, all we need to do here is just change what parameters we pass through. I'm going to change this from value to upgrade, and then I'm going to set the type as base upgrade. So that's it. That is all we have to do. We just need to change the same thing inside of the actual function we set up. So upgrade of type base upgrade, and make sure when we're emitting, we just do emit the upgrade. This allows us to pass around this upgrade throughout our entire game and pretty much just do what we want with it from there. So I'm going to hit Control S and save. I'm going to go down to the upgrade menu. The price of the upgrade now, this variable, because we're going to be emitting the whole upgrade, we can just delete that variable because we don't need it. We don't need to store it because we're just going to be kind of throwing it. Now, how do we throw it? Well, that's simple. On upgrade purchased, we want to basically just go and pass through the upgrade, right? We want to grab the upgrade and pass through the upgrade. Question is, how are we going to be storing this upgrade so we can do it? Well, we can once again do what we did with the price. We can create a variable for it. We can go and call this stored underscore upgrade of type base upgrade. Set that equal to null. And then on the else statement here, at the very bottom, we can just set the stored upgrade to be equal to the upgrade. And then for the rest of this, all we have to do here is on upgrade purchase. So when we press that button, we just need to call our signal bus, use dot emit, and we want to emit the emit on underscore upgrade collected. Upgrade purchased, there we go. Emit on upgrade purchased, and we want to pass through the stored upgrade. There we go. So for those of you who just want to know how to set the upgrade option and then get it sent off, that's how we do it. Now, for actually setting our proper upgrades, we're going to do this in a really kind of interesting way. So let's go into our upgrade menu. Let's go and start adding to this. We have the button already ready to go, which is our exit button. We have that like functionality set up and the actual signal for it set up, which is all great. We're going to need to add 2 more upgrades, or 2 more variables. The word upgrade is stuck in my brain already. And both of these are going to be arrays. So the first one is going to be the upgrade underscore option underscore array. And we're going to set this to type array, but this is going to be an array specifically of upgrade option. So those tabs, these little tab windows that we've set up here, it's going to be an array of these. Let's go back to that script, and then we're going to set that equal to an empty array. And now we're also going to do the same thing for the available upgrades. Now this is going to be a placeholder exported variable for just this episode. So what we're going to do is we're just going to call this available underscore upgrades, set it equal to an array, and with that array is going to be of type base upgrade, and we'll set that equal to an empty array. Now we're going to need this variable, but it's not going to need to be exported forever because of how we want to set it in the future. For now, just for testing purposes, I just want to get this up and running. So we have our 2 arrays. We're going to need to start kind of setting these, and this is really simple. This is a 3 lines of code win, right? So the func for the process, we can remove that, and we're going to create a new function in its place, and this is just going to be called select underscore random underscore upgrade. It's going to be a void return type. And all we need to do in here is do a really quick for loop. We could just go for I, or for upgrade underscore option in upgrade options. There you go, upgrade option in upgrade option array, we want to grab the available upgrades, use dot shuffle, so we're shuffling that array, and then we want to go upgrade option dot set underscore upgrade option, and we want to just pass through the available upgrade dot pick random. Now this is basically going to shuffle the available upgrade array, pick a random one from it, and then for every single upgrade option we have, just give it a random upgrade. Now that's not going to work at the moment because we don't have enough upgrades to fill this out, which is fine because if certain upgrades don't exist, it's just going to fill them out with null, or at least it should. So what we can do here is we can now go to our upgrade menu in the inspector, if it'll let us, there we go. In the inspector, we need to populate the upgrade option array real quick. We have 3 upgrade options, so we'll make that 3, and we'll just assign upgrade 1, upgrade option 2, and upgrade option 3. So it now knows what the upgrade options are, the actual windows. Now we need to just go and assign 3 base upgrades. We didn't create 3 base upgrades, but here's a really cool thing about having custom exported arrays. We can add an element, click empty, and then new base upgrade. And we just click on that, and now we can just create 3 random base upgrades to test this with. So the upgrade name, this is just going to be test 1, description will be test 1, and the cost will be 2. So that's going to be our first little upgrade that we test with. Now we can do the same thing again. So new base upgrade. So we click add element, click the empty, new base upgrade, click on it. This will be test 3, or test 2, sorry. The description will be test 2, and the upgrade cost will be 4. One more time for the add element. We can do this for test 3, test 3, and then we can go up to 6 in the coins. And just to add one more to show that we don't need just 3, it can be as many as we want. We can just go test 4, test 4, and we will knock the coin count to 8. Now, what should happen, I say should because every time I click the run game button, my heart skips a beat, and I don't know if it's always going to work. I click play. I let this count down. I said I don't know if it's going to work is because sometimes things don't like to work, like it's currently doing. Now, why is that currently doing it? Well, that's because I completely forgot to actually run the select random upgrade option. Like this is a thing with coding one project and then moving into this, is I will forget to do certain things. You've probably seen it in mostly every episode now. You'd think I'd learn, I don't. Now, let's try that again. Let 3 seconds countdown. And there we go. We've got 2 test 1s and a test 4. So, okay, let's go and run that again and just keep rerunning it and see how the randomization feels. Test 1, 2 test 3s. Okay, do it again. 2 test 2s and a test 1. So you're seeing that we're getting 2 of a specific one and then 1 of another, where their placement is just kind of doesn't matter. Now, the more upgrades we add to this, the less, or the more random it's going to be, the less duplicates you're going to find. Now, the upgrades that I actually have want to use in this game, I am a-okay there being like duplicates, because the way that we're going to be kind of setting this up is a tagging system. There will never actually show a duplicate unless it's a duplicate of different karma types. So that will basically give them slight variation in what they actually do. So one will be increase health by 1. The other one will be increase health by 1. But one will have a really good benefit, the other one will have a really bad benefit. Or they will balance each other out, or something along those lines. There's basically just a lot we can do with upgrades. I know that might sound a bit confusing. But yes, we're basically done. Like this is basically it. We are done. We have got our random upgrades being selected. Every time we play the game, we can now do pretty much anything with this. There you go, 4, 1, 2. Every time I press this buy button, what is currently happening is we are emitting a signal containing this upgrade and all of the data within the resource for it. that means we will eventually, or we're going to get an upgrade manager ready, and that will be managing and kind of... Actually, we don't even need to do an upgrade manager. That's the best part about the signal. We can just have the individual things that need to be affected listen to the signal, or listen for the signal, and then do what it needs to with it. That's really, really useful. That's pretty much it. That is us done for this video. I hope this was easy to follow. I'm a little bit of a mess today. I'm a little bit chaotic, but I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're having a great day and a great game dev journey, and I will see you in the next video.